Hey everybody, welcome to TJ's Lego Room, and today I'm really excited to show you my Ahsoka Fulcrum Lightsaber Hilts. The instructions are available on Rebrickable right now, so if you want to head over there, it would definitely help me out. I'm really excited. I've actually sold quite a few instructions on Rebrickable, so much that I actually had to pay Rebrickable for the number of instructions that I sold. So that was actually really exciting. So thank you so much to everybody who did that. You guys are awesome. So let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? Alrighty. Let me just get this arranged properly. Okay. Cool. So these are Ahsoka's Fulcrum Sabers. They were used in the TV show Star Wars Rebels. She ditched her sabers from the Clone Wars at the end of that series, and she was able to rebuild these using crystals that she harvested from an Inquisitor's lightsaber. Now they have the red blades because they like imbue the dark side into them. They call it bleeding a saber, but she was actually able to heal them, and so her saber blades were white, which is pretty exciting. These are some of my rarest builds that I do because I didn't do any drawings of these at first. I didn't even do concept drawings on the technique of the builds. I literally just sat down and started going. So this definitely makes a rare one. It's kind of like the Igor suit that I had a while back from the Iron Man Hall of Armor set. I miniaturized that Igor armor, and it became a very popular video. Probably the shortest video that I ever did as far as like production side of it. Definitely one of the short ones. And these sabers are not only unique because of the color, which is the first time we saw a white blade in the Disney Star Wars, but they're also very rare because they are curved hilts. They're not straight like we see with all the original ones. These join the very rare club of Dooku and Ventress in being a curved hilt. And Dooku's was kind of like an angular one, whereas Ventress was definitely more curved, like these would have been a little bit closer to. So, again, I didn't do any drawings of these, but one of the reasons I didn't was because they already had drawings up, and I already had existing Ahsoka sabers to compare them to from Galaxy's Edge. So, and these are a little bit cheaper, so since we can't go to Galaxy's Edge at the moment, this was a great way to get a hold of them without having to pay absurd costs of people who are trying to resell them, right? A couple of the new techniques that I used a 1x2 curve technique, and you can see a lot of YouTube videos on people that have done that before, but to get these upper and lower curves, you basically take 1x2 plates or bricks and you bend them into shape. There's a little bit of play in those. I don't think it's a legal building technique, but it's one that the design software I use, Stud.io, was able to account for. So I used it, which is pretty fun. The other thing that I did was I did these cheese wedge tiling on the side. And so if you look at it from the side, you can see they're completely flush with the side. They're almost like an inlay. That was actually really difficult to figure out how to do because it really limits how much space you can have in the middle, because you've got cheese wedges on both sides trying to make this pattern, which it was actually quite delicate to do. So I did make a lot of significant improvements over my old ones. So this is my old Shoto saber, the smaller secondary blade. And you can see there are a lot of things different on this one, even just the placement of the diamonds and the placement of the button. These were designed basically off of screenshots and other people's drawings of Ahsoka with her lightsabers. This was not something that I had a lot of reference material for when I originally built these over a year ago. I'm sure it could have been 2 years ago. But these guys did win me Best of Star Wars of 2019 at Brick Slopes. I can only imagine what these ones will do, right? Maybe this will be my 2021 ticket. Should be a lot of fun, right? And then here's the big one. You can see they're about the same size, actually, as the new ones. Just a little bit too big, and so I did shrink them down just slightly. Made a lot of improvements there. So when you handle these, there are a couple things. On Rebrickable, I did call these UCS lightsaber hilts because they're very delicate, unfortunately. You can see when I handle them, I'm kind of keeping one hand under the cheese wedges in case they try to fall out. They are wedged in there pretty good, but they do tend to come loose a little bit when you're rolling it around and stuff like I'm doing. I'm not, oh, yeah, just like that. So I keep my hand underneath it just to make sure. But you can kind of get it to tension up a little bit by just squeezing it together because they are tensioned in there pretty well. But obviously when I'm handling them, and I've done this particular video multiple times and forgot to tighten them up between each try. And so as I've been rotating them around, they do come loose a little bit over time. These are definitely not cosplay. They are for display and for light handling. Again, I just keep that one hand under here to try to make sure that those cheese wedges don't fall out while I'm filming the video or while I'm doing it. But you can see I can still take my hand away and it still works, and they don't just fall out on their own just by resting, which is good. I actually redesigned that section a couple times to make sure that they were wedged in there, pun intended, very well. So when it comes to the instructions, I do have a lot of light bluish gray in here. Those light bluish gray pieces can be any color. So when you get in there and look at the light bluish gray, you can use any color from your collections that you want. I would actually recommend going through and seeing what you have and seeing some of the easier colors to get. I did not go through and find out what the cheapest colors are for the internals. My hope was that a lot of people would have some of these things laying around already. So that's why I did it that direction, that way. Another quick little key inside is there actually are Kyber crystals inside these things. And while I used silver Kyber crystals to emulate the white blades, and that was the closest I could get to white as far as these particular crystal pieces were concerned, I would encourage anybody out there who builds this to get a Kyber crystal of your own color choosing, a color that you would like, and put it inside there and make it your own, which would be really fun. When you buy the instructions from me, the instructions are for sale for $5 right now. And it'll probably stay there. I've considered, the reason I say for now is because I've considered lowering the price after 6 months or a year afterwards, depending on how they do. But again, that's just a consideration right now. I might not have the time to go back and do that kind of thing. So they're for $5 as of the recording of this video. And then the display stand and the symbol up here are also going to be included in the instructions, but the display stand and symbol are instructions that'll be available for free on Rebrickable, and they're actually up right now as well, just separately. I really liked the way that this particular display stand looked as far as holding a lightsaber, and if I kind of give you a little spin here, you can see it's actually very sturdy. It will not fall down in an earthquake because we have those here apparently. So as I'm turning it around, I'll just tell you some of the other details. So as far as part count, the lightsabers themselves, both of them together, are about 1,200 parts. Lightsaber and stand and the symbol on top all together is about 500 or 1,500 parts. So about 300 parts more than just the sabers themselves. And the lightsabers are not hollow. They're actually very solid. They're not heavy, I would say, but they are solid. They are brick built all the way through, and that was to make sure that I could get everything going the right direction, plus facilitate the spines, the curved spines that I have inside there, of which each lightsaber has 3. Little trivia. Again, I wouldn't use them for cosplay. The moniker or the advice I would give for that would be craggle before cosplay. You definitely want to glue that together before you cosplay with it for sure. But I also wanted to say that the display can actually hold different sabers as well, and that's why I put it up separately. So here we go. We've got our lightsaber here. I think this is supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi's maybe. Ben and I have both worked on this at different points, and it's a little fragile, but it's still good. It's not as fragile as those ones. You know, you can jostle this around quite a bit, and there's no cheese wedges fall out of that one. But it fits on there just fine. I imagine if you wanted to, you could get some sort of a Skywalker symbol and do like the Anakin saber that Luke had and then Darth Vader, or you could have Anakin's and Luke's sabers since they were both designed by light side users. I'm totally going to do that now. And but yeah, it'd work for anything, and that's why I have it separately. I have the Ahsoka one, the Ahsoka label display symbol separate, as well as the display by itself. And that was because I figured if people just wanted the display, there you go, it's yours. If you just want the symbol and you can use it with another build, maybe you have a collection of Ahsokas and you want to put that up behind it, I thought that'd be a great use for it as well. And that's why I put those up for free. I've had them around for a while. I don't think they're super complicated builds, and I didn't put as much work into them. I think the instructions took me like 30 minutes for the stand and the symbol, whereas the actual sabers, I must have spent at least 20-30 hours just going through the instructions for those things. And that doesn't include the build time or the the designing aspect and trying to figure out everything. So anyway, thank you so much for checking out TJ's Lego Room. I always try to say thank you because I am genuinely grateful for you guys checking this out and leaving such kind words in the comments. It really makes my day sometimes, so I really appreciate it. So anyway, we'll catch you guys next time in TJ's Lego Room. Bye. Baby Yoda. And that is his name.